Hi, it's Melissa, and today I have a layout that I made with the ends of my May hip kit, and it's basically one of those layouts where I've got lots of things left over that I haven't used, and I just want to get them used. So I'm scrapping a photo of my son on his first day of school this year. So here in New Zealand, school starts at the end of January or the beginning of February. Our school started at the end of January. That interruption there and shaking, that was actually my daughter bringing in some scissors. I asked the kids, where are the scissors? They were actually playing a game of tents behind me, because it's school holidays here. And so she decided to come in with 2 pairs of scissors and just dump them on the table. Anyway, back to the story, back to the layout. So we have 6 weeks of school holidays over summer, and then the kids know that on the first day of school, of course, the scrapbooking mother wants to take a photo. And neither of them really cooperated this year. They wouldn't pose for a photo outside the school. So the best I could do, because my husband is Sam's teacher, was just kind of sneak in there and take a photo. So Sam was totally aware that I was trying to get a photo, and I actually really like this photo because it's him setting up his desk. So I think he's got a little half smile on because he knows that I'm taking the photo. I'll be scrapping a photo of my daughter, my middle daughter, and there's actually tears in her eyes because, number one, she doesn't want the photo, and number two, she doesn't want to be back at school. But anyway, I do it every year, and it's an important memory, I think, that although it's annoying that Mum is taking a photo, I think when they look back, they will love them. And if you've watched any of my layout shares, you'll know that I take a photo of them on their birthday, and then I scrap a page about what their favourites are, and that is one photo that the kids are perfectly happy to pose for. It's just these ones aren't. Anyway, back to the layout. So I was going to put that piece of torn paper on the edge, and it's the same paper as that piece that I've cut there, but it just didn't look right with all the straight edges of those cut aparts. So I did away with that and cut myself a nice straight piece, and there you would have seen I was planning to tuck that notebook edge underneath, but I'd put too much adhesive on, so quick change of plans. I have punched that with my Stampin' Up! Notebook edge punch, and I've done it on vellum, and I love the softness that vellum adds, and I think, of course, that a school page looks really good with a notebook edge. I cut a piece of the other side of that blue, which has got those diamonds, falling diamonds on it, and I don't know if you guys find that your Fiskars trimmer sometimes cuts a bit crooked, and I found that in this case, so I'd had to trim it off and then start again. Trying not to use too much adhesive here because I know that I'm going to machine stitch these pieces down. So I'm just going to layer that over the top. Now, when you guys make your videos, I don't know how you do it, but when I edit, I will go back and watch it before I put my voiceover on. And not the whole thing, because this is a longer one for me, but I definitely have a look. And to me, this layout is like the layout that just took forever to come to be. And I don't know if it's because I'm down to the last bits and pieces, but I had a vision in my head of how I wanted it. I wanted those die cuts and cut aparts to be not like a grid, but to be placed around the photo. And then I did at first think that I would individually stitch them all down, but that never happened because I start embellishing as I go. So you'll see what I mean. Now I've been inspired by Missy Whidden on this one, and I've ripped the bottom edge of my paper, and I just did it with that piece. And because that's from a Chickanitty 6x6 paper pad, it's a bit, well, it's not large enough for my photo. So I've come in with the yellow of this citrus paper, and that just provides a bit of, well, it's not as obvious that that paper doesn't go the whole way. It looks intentional. And then I've taken that ledger or notebook paper, and that I've put that behind. So here I'm starting to commit to my layers. This is the first think the first page, and I've done about 14 layouts now from this kit. This is the first page that I've done my normal layering. It's interesting to me how, as scrapbookers, we have our true and trusted style, and for me it's layering. But then often we will go away from that and try something new. And that's what I have been doing lately. So originally I was going to put that paper with the notebook or the lines on it, I was going to put that behind as a layer, but I decided that it was going to get a bit lost on the blue paper, on the white cardstock. And I did think that I would do some mixed media behind this, but the more I thought about it, I decided that because I'm keeping all those cut aparts and die cuts separate, that it wouldn't look quite right. So I've decided to punch the edge with my notebook punch. I've used that piece of washi and I'm making it look like it's been ripped out of a school book. So here I'm just coming in, I'm wanting to add a bit of distressing, so I'm adding some colour shine, and I think it's seagrass. And then I'm coming in with this really old, it's not that old, but it's a Mr. Huey's in blue, and I'm wanting it to look like some ink has just been spilt on the page. Now, I've put that aside to dry, so in the meantime I've used another piece of that paper just to act as the paper will act once I put it back in, so just so with my design I know where I'm at. And this is a cut apart, I think it might be from the 6x6 paper from Chickenity, and I liked the idea of cutting those banners and cutting off the rest of the white paper so it wasn't even visible on there, and then having that poking out the edge as an element. So I like that. And I'm gluing it between my layers, between my photo mat and my paper, so I don't have to worry about waiting for the piece of paper that I've inked and sprayed and punched to dry, so I've just put it in. I had a hard time using those acetate banners. I found the bows, hearts and stars easier to use, so probably because of adhering them. And the best way to adhere them that I found was just to staple them. So it makes logical sense to put that one at the top. Please excuse my head in a lot of my frames. I didn't realise that my head was so prominent in this video. I am working on my setup and making it better, so the top of my head won't feature so much. So now I'm deciding to layer these two pieces together, and with this one I really didn't plan it out other than to have those cut aparts set apart, I guess, on the page. And at this point I realised that the colour scheme I want to go with is the blue and the green, and I didn't decide this beforehand like I just said. It's just that as I'm placing my bits and pieces and pulling things from the kit, I'm realising that that's the colour scheme I'm wanting to go with. And the photo is making it easy for me because his school uniform shirt is white. You can't see his shorts, but they're grey, and there really isn't much colour in that photo, so it's easy. So now I've put that that piece that I've inked, I've put that next to my photo. I think I've adhered it at this stage, and one thing I shouldn't have done was blot it. I should have left it to dry completely because I'm not 100% happy with the shape of the ink splatters, but hey, another first world scrapbooking problem. In the greater scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just deciding where to put that little, I think it's embellishments puffy, and as you know I love to staple them down. I love that look on there, and I know I want that favourite memory card to go at the bottom, and hey, why not add that little guess it's what is it, bubble tea. But actually, when Sam saw this layout, he was really happy that it was on there. And one thing we do once a week as a special treat is we go to McDonald's, we go through the drive-through, and the kids get a frozen drink. So when he sees that, he immediately thinks of that, of what we do. And he actually said, "Mum, why didn't you put the straw up to our mouth so I could be drinking the slushie?" But anyway, He's just having me on, as he does. So I'm moving pretty quickly now. I'm at this stage I'm feeling more happy with where I'm going with this design, and now it's just a case of gluing things down and embellishing where necessary. I could have cut out some of this process, but I've left it in because I think it shows my thought process. And because these die cuts or cut aparts, they do play a big role in the design of this page, I've left all of this in. Oh, you'll notice that I've got nice nails again. I redid my nails, and I did them myself, and I think I'd said in one of my videos that I'd ruined my manicure that I got in Christchurch within the first probably 15 minutes. And I've done it myself, and I'm actually happy that it stayed on. And I'm pretty rough though, I need to be careful. I find that it's just too easy to chip nail polish, especially when you're a busy mum with little kids. And yeah, it definitely makes me more aware of what I'm doing though, and I think it looks good on screen. Not that that's why I'm doing it, but I go through phases of liking things, and at the moment I'm into my nail polish. So here I'm just going through my um, box of embellishments, just trying to see if there's anything else that I can put on here that's going to work. Now that little card, I think it's 9 hearts or spades. You can tell I'm not a card player. Could have used it, but it didn't look quite right, so it's there for the moment, but I'll be removing it. Here I'm putting year 4 because that's the year that he is at school. And I like to put, because I don't have any vellum adhesive or a Xyron machine or anything, so I try and put the acetate or clear pieces near the edge of the page where my stapler will reach. So I really needed something to fill that gap, so I've got one of the chicken litty counterparts and I've cut that bike off, and I like the fact that it's on lined paper and it's blue, so he loves biking. There is a little bit of relevance to it, and I'm happy with how it looks on the page. So at this point I've got everything down, and that stamp set, I think it came in a hip kit when they still had the stamp add-on last year, and it's by it's American Crafts, or was it Crap Paper DIY shop? Anyway, it's one of, it may even be Simple Stories. Anyway, I've added it into this kit because I know a lot of people say this, that they forget about their stamps and don't use them. So I'm making a real effort, especially on this page, to add some stamping. So now I'm adding my journaling onto the side of that little notebook paper. And I literally talk about the fact that it was hard to get a photo this year. I've added the title, favourite memory, I put first day, and then I'm stamping in that little green rectangle the word captured. So the title is first day captured. I'm a bit of a nervous stamper, not confident, and I think confidence would help because then I'd just do it, I wouldn't be hesitant, and I'm also known to press down too hard, which doesn't always give a good look either, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I just want to get it down, get it done. I can always go over it with my black pen and correct any mistakes. And now the bit that I'm loving, using the little star stamp, and I'm using some, I think it's, I can't remember the name, but it's a blue, probably retired colour now from Stampin' Up. And so I'm just double stamping those stars, not thinking too hard about where I'm putting them. And I love the little touch that they add to the page. And there's the final page. I've added a clip and I've added some stitching and some enamel dots. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back again soon.